This is the behind the scenes story of my history with one LeBron Raymond James Sr., LeBron James. This is the story of how I came so very close to going to Cleveland back in 2008 to sit with LeBron and interview LeBron for the show I was doing at the time, which was the new First Take, as we had just moved to Bristol, Connecticut, in the mothership of ESPN. I started closely watching LeBron, obviously, during his rookie year, but I didn't have the daily shot at talking about him on a daily TV show until the 04-05 season, which was my first year on a show called Cold Pizza, which was on ESPN2, originating from New York City. And as I watched closely night after night for my gig on Cold Pizza, I did begin to notice that young LeBron would quit attacking the basket down the stretch of close games and instead start to settle for deeper and deeper three-point shots. All the while, me thinking, wait a second, he's looking like the greatest driver of the basketball I've ever seen. What's up with this? And it began to dawn on me that young LeBron feared the late game free throw line. High IQ, didn't want the demons of late game free throws to get a hold of his psyche. So he shot threes, or he passed and made the right basketball play to teammates for shots to win games or to keep games close late because of his Achilles feel at the free throw line. Remember, 75% career free throw shooter by quote unquote GOAT standards, no good. Disqualifies you, LeBron, sir, as the GOAT. But I thought about all this week because of what the great Shaquille O'Neal said of LeBron, which was, nobody has ever feared him. Bingo. That's been the essence of my argument against LeBron and for Michael Jordan as the GOAT, is that LeBron has never been the cold-blooded basketball killer and closer that Jordan was, Kobe Bryant was, or that Shaq was. LeBron has never had that give me the ball and get out of my way closer mentality that it takes to be a Jordan or a Kobe or even a Shaq. I do believe, as Shaq believes, that opponents have seen a little doubt flicker in LeBron's eyes late in games. Shaq knows. And the bottom line for me has always been that LeBron has always been too nice a guy to be considered in the GOAT conversation. Always wanted to be loved too much to be considered in the GOAT conversation. Trust me, Michael Jordan did not care or want to be loved. Michael Jordan simply loved winning. Hence, 6 finals, 6 rings, 6 MVPs. But I did first guess this on Cold Pizza, and during those days, my debate partner was Woody Page, but our moderator at that point was one Jay Crawford from Cleveland, Ohio. LeBron nut, of course, even in the early days. And on a daily basis during the basketball season on Cold Pizza, Jay Crawford would look at me on live TV and say, how can you say that about LeBron? How dare you say that about LeBron? So after 3 years in New York, ESPN decided to move us, Cold Pizza, up to the mothership in Bristol, rebrand us as First Take, and our new showrunner up at the mothership was Galen Gordon. close friend of Stephen A. Smith's. And by the way, Stephen A. would not join me as a full-time partner on First Take until 2012. We moved up in 2007, and this was 2008. And Galen was the one who had the inspired idea, how about if we set it up for you, Skip, to go interview LeBron in Cleveland? Okay, I'm game. If LeBron's game. So Galen went through the Cavaliers PR. I believe he worked behind the scenes through LeBron's people. And it was set up that I would interact face-to-face with one LeBron James. I would go to Cleveland. Jay Crawford, the moderator, would also go to referee in Cleveland. And we would go on a Sunday for a Sunday afternoon game. And then after the arena cleared, game was over, after LeBron had showered, done all of his media responsibilities, we would have set up at courtside. I was told it was going to be actually along the baseline underneath the basket out of bounds. We would have a sort of a makeshift set there. LeBron would come and sit with us for about 30 minutes. We would go back and forth. We would tape it for the next day's First Take. Something we never did because First Take, as well as Undisputed, is live to live. It's not live to tape. So this was the grand plan. And yet, before I proceed, here's the key to this. I certainly did not fear facing LeBron. I did not dread facing LeBron. I actually looked forward to it. I'm going to say it one more time. I have never hated LeBron. From a distance, I've actually liked him as a guy. I got to know Michael Jordan in 1998 in Chicago. I enjoyed his company, but it's just different than what I view to be LeBron's company. Michael, not the nicest guy. Michael would let you know exactly what he thought about anything and anybody. Michael was mostly into Michael, as you could imagine. And to me, the nicer guy by far is LeBron James. To me, the more down-to-earth guy by far is LeBron James. If we're talking about how intrigued you'd be being in the presence of a Michael Jordan, you got me on that because I was intrigued. There is aura. There is mystique. There is, as my debate partner on Undisputed, Shannon Sharp, says, the feeling that when you walk in the room with Jordan, he's going to levitate like he's not human. That's the difference between Jordan and LeBron. LeBron comes across to me as very human. So I look forward to sitting with him and sort of vibing with him eye to eye and exchanging ideas and thoughts about what made him tick. The only request or demand we got back from his side was that I come to the game and that I sit courtside for the entire game in position A, like at the 50-yard line at midcourt. And fine, I'm fine with that. And I'm pretty sure the idea was that LeBron and company wanted Cavs fans to boo the hell out of me, to maybe beat me down and soften me up a little bit for the LeBron interview. I am totally cool with that. I said, bring it on. It's not that I relish getting booed, but I've been booed so many times. It goes with the territory. Some of it can be good-natured. Some of it can be mean-spirited. I don't care. If that's what was required that day, if I had to pay my price of admission, that would be my price I would pay to be admitted into the presence of LeBron Raymond James Sr. Everything was set up. Everything seemed right on schedule. We made our flight reservations, got our tickets, and all of a sudden, everything, in a shock to me, was off. And I'll be honest with you, to this day, I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe I wasn't exactly privy to the why of it. I was just told by Galen Gordon, it's off. Yet, even though it fell through, LeBron did continue to say nice things about me. Did a radio interview just a couple of months thereafter in which LeBron called me his Howard Cosell. Now, for our younger viewers, back in the day, Howard Cosell often interviewed Muhammad Ali before and definitely after big fights. And Howard Cosell would ask tough questions of Muhammad. And Muhammad would tap dance and playfully deflect said tough questions, and even more playfully puncture the enormous ego of one Howard Cosell with the shot at Howard Cosell. So I appreciated that comparison, but only to a point, because in their day, Ali and Cosell obviously were huge figures, but Cosell mostly because of his role on Monday Night Football. The truth was, he was more of a bombastic entertainer than I think I am, that I hope I'm not, if you will. Howard was a much bigger celebrity than I am. And Howard wasn't what you call what I aspire to be, which is a truth-telling commentator. And LeBron, just a quick note for you, I'm sorry, you never have been or ever will be, in my eyes, Muhammad Ali, whom I, if you recently recall, put on my all-time Mount Rushmore. LeBron, no. Ali, yes. So I'm not sure about that comparison. I hope you enjoyed that video. You ready for more? Make sure you click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from the Skip Bayless Show. And don't forget to check out the full episode of the show wherever you get your podcasts by clicking the link in the description.